I went to a family party the other week, and it was not, shall we say, COVID compliant. And I was surprised actually, because the people who were having the party are very conscious of this. So I can imagine if I'm at this place where people who I expect to be very compliant are not, that this must be happening all over the country. What should you do when you have family members who are not on the same page? I know what I did, by the way. I walked straight through the house and out to the backyard and sat outside, but that's not always an option. So what should you do?
Yeah, in those particular instances, let's say, for example, people are not following the guidelines that you expected, then my recommendation is to do everything you can to protect yourself and protect your family. For example, if that means, finding another part of the house that you can hang out in, or staying in a smaller area, or maybe even cutting your time short. You may have to, and you initially might have planned on staying for 3 or 4 hours, you might cut your time down to just a couple of hours this holiday season. So making those modifications, putting some space in between yourself and those other individuals who are breaking those guidelines. And so that space might be time. It might be time or physical space.
You're in these situations where you want to protect yourself, you want to protect others, but then you realize, you know what? Certain people just don't need to be in your bubble, because you've seen how they've operated in front of you. You've heard about how they're operating away from you. So how do you actually exclude people from your quarantine, without them being upset or carrying a grudge? How do you kind of smooth it over?
Well, the thing is, they are probably going to be upset. I think the one thing we have to try to do is make sure that all of our relationships are intact once we get over this pandemic. And so approach this situation from a perspective of compassion and tell the person, hey, you know what? I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to protect you. So maybe we shouldn't hang out together. Or I'm not going to have any extra people over. Or I'm going to keep my bubble small. So when you tell the person you're trying to protect them, it puts a little bit of a different thought process in their head, as opposed to, they're the ones that's doing the stuff wrong. But to tell someone, I just want to make sure that I'm protecting you, so we won't have you come over right now. They'll say, ugh, and they might be a little bit better with it.
I know, actually, I really like that. I think that there's a way to, take it off of it looking like you're doing something to them or you don't like something about them, versus it's like, hey, let me take care of you. So I think all of us, though, the pandemic is still here, and who knows if we're going to see a second wave, but it's not going away anytime soon. So I think it's important for all of us to realize that the number one priority is protection. And when looking at what others are doing, don't look at it from a selfish standpoint. You're doing something to me. Think about that person trying to do something for themselves and their family. So Elaine and Dr. Popescu, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.